Hi, how are you? I hope that you are doing well. Today I want to talk about how others placing you in their perception of your social class could literally limit the opportunities that they deem you worthy of having, and it leading to a ripple effect. Now, the basis of this argument is still true, even with the understanding that if you believe and that you are meant to have wealth, rich, money, abundance, all the things that you think about, if you feel like you are meant to have that, that is your divine calling, that is your karmic path, that is who you are meant to do and become, then it's going to happen. It's going to happen regardless. But on the way of it happening, on the road to Damascus, literally, you will know and you will see, you will hear a lot of things that people around you highlighting their own limiting beliefs, hence showing you their real behavior. How has this come up for me? I just came back from an event and I was with some of my friends. And they were talking to me about a mutual of theirs that I don't know very well, but who is married, and they also have another mutual. So there's mutual one, mutual two. Mutual one, they know very well, but mutual two is like new to them. And I'm like, oh, okay. They said they met this person at their job, and this person is from this certain background. They're basically from the same country. Mutual one and mutual two are from the same country. And they were like, oh my goodness. Once mutual two found out that mutual one is from the same country as them, mutual one, she asked to meet up with this guy. She's like, let me get to know him. Like, I would love to get to know him. However, my friends, and there's like, it's a bigger group because they all work together. I don't work with them. They all were like, oh, we're not too keen on it. But they did ask mutual one, would you like to meet her? And mutual one said, I don't think my wife will get along with her. Because they come from different social backgrounds. They did not relay this information back to mutual two. Mutual two is still holding out to meet mutual one and his wife, his family, like interact with them, just have someone of the similar country culture that they know in this area. But all my friends, I noticed, were speaking so like stepping on eggshells around like, well, mutual two comes from a lot of wealth. She has had a lot of access. She's went to this type of universities. Like, she, buys designer. She has multiple homes. Like, that's her background. And mutual one and his situation and his experiences are not like that at all. So my friends were discussing how they shouldn't really interact with them, or they shouldn't introduce mutual two to mutual one because of their social status differences. You're probably listening to this and you're like, girl, what? Like, are you serious? Like, let them determine that amongst themselves. They could be really good friends. What does social status have to do about meeting someone new? Same. I'm with you. So I'm observing this whole conversation, and in my head, I'm like, what? Like, who cares? Like, if they're from the same country and mutual two's interested in getting to know them, and mutual one's hesitant because his wife doesn't have that same ability or status, and he doesn't know if his wife will like all of that. It sounds more like a personal insecurity if you're asking me. But who knows? Like, his wife could be really good friends with mutual two. Like, who knows? But you see how mutual one is a roadblock to his wife. And all of my friends who are all discussing it and who don't want to move this story along to say, okay, yeah, we'll introduce them, or we'll just give them their contact information. They can reach out to each other. They don't want to move this story along because they all truly believed, yes, due to their social statuses that Mutual One pointed out, yes, they should not meet. What? And I'm listening to them, 7 people deep, and they're like, oh, yeah. Like, what does a nail tech have to talk to an investment banker about? And these people who are discussing these are highly educated people. Everyone in the room has gone to graduate school. These are not people who are lacking for much. But to hear how people outside of you could objectively list out all of your credentials and your accolades and compare it to someone else who could be a good networking opportunity, a good person to have around you, a potential partner, someone just that you know and have in your back pocket, like, you know, building your community, building your village. The people around you could be inhibiting that process because they don't view your social status against this person's social status as worthy of connection. They don't believe that these two people should meet due to social status, because of their perception of what does an investment banker have to talk to a nail tech about. We're all women. There's a shit ton to talk about. But with these stipulations and with these caveats, these people may never meet. These people may never interact. These people, like, you may never know. What if they meet and they actually become best friends? What if they build such a beautiful, robust relationship and have so many similarities and also so many differences that it just works out like they're just good girlfriends? What if that happens? You don't know, because you are trying to be a roadblock in someone else's life. Now, this highlighted to me, I think I abstractly knew that people did this, but seeing how in conviction everyone was in the room to say, yeah, no, they should not meet. They have nothing to talk about. Like how godlike everyone was about not making this happen. I was like, oh, this is it in 4K. Like, you think of this as an abstract thing that, oh yeah, people are blocking your blessings. No, people are actually blocking your blessings. People are actually blocking them. People are actually blocking your blessings and telling you who you can and who you cannot speak to under their watch. The whole tell everyone that you're networking for this or you're looking for that, or if they know someone like this. How many people are being forthcoming with everyone that they know that meets your criteria? Or are they discounting or leaving people off the list? Like, oh girl, I don't know that anyone who does that, because they don't want you, they don't think your social status or your abilities or your achievements or your credentials match up to the person they have in their head. So then they tell you no. How many times does that happen? Probably a lot more than you actually think. Probably a lot more than you actually can even fathom. It happens a lot. It happens a lot. And people sit in these circles and wonder why social status is still such a concern in our lives. Because people either want to maintain their own and or elevate. But they don't want someone else to elevate. They don't want someone else to come down. Well, I don't think they're really fazed if someone was to come down. They don't want to see someone else elevated. They want to elevate. But in they elevating, you can't elevate. Look at the limiting beliefs they're placing on a random person they've never met. They never met the wife. They never spoken to a wife. They don't know this woman. But do you hear all the stipulations they're placing on them for the simple fact that, oh, well, they're two social different classes. Like, of course they can't meet. Yeah, that's inappropriate. That's inappropriate. Someone even said that. That's inappropriate. It's inappropriate for two people with one person who really wants to meet them. It's inappropriate for them to meet because they're of different social status. And then we say social status shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be a discriminatory point. No. Let's be clear. Social status will always remain a thing because people will always believe that their social class is lower or not as desirable, and they want to move. And they want to move up. They have a eat the rich mentality coupled with coddling the poor mentality, but really it shows up in coddling the rich and eating the poor. That's what actually happens in reality. They think they're coddling this quote unquote lower status woman who's a nail tech, but in reality they're eating her. They're preventing her from potentially networking with someone who is an investment banker of her same country of origin, something that they can relate to, something that they can like broaden about. They are saying absolutely not. A bunch of people, a bunch of randos who never met her. Why? Because they don't believe that she is worthy of that meeting due to her social class. We inventory rich people all the time. Oh, they do this, they have that, they have that. And then we compare others and ourselves to that and then deem ourselves worthy or unworthy of their presence. Well, if I didn't go to the same school as them and I don't have the same level of education, I guess I can't talk to them. How many times have you've done this and shot yourself in the foot because you perceive someone to have a higher worth, a grander status than you? So you prevent yourself from even talking to them because you're like, oh, of course not. I can't talk to them. Of course not. We have nothing to talk about. How many times have you done that? And if you haven't done it, how many times have you observed some other people around you do it? How many times have you observed someone else around you do it? This is the road to Damascus. This is the journey of actual money beliefs, of actually tuning into the frequency of abundance. People think, oh, if we just go to 888 hertz and we just live our lives in abundance, we'll be great. Yeah, you can do that. But it's also in the company you keep, in the words that you say, in the beliefs that are running in your heart, and the thoughts that are projectile vomiting every time someone asks you about something and you say something stupid about, oh, that's expensive, that's stupid, da-da-da-da. Of course not, I can see. Just to fit in, just to be a part of the group. Instead of practicing one deep desired awareness to say, if I know I'm going to be rich, if I know wealth is a part of my birthright, that is something I'm destined to have in this lifetime. I am going to manifest all the desires of my heart in this lifetime, not in all of my lifetimes. No. This one is going to be the one. And I'm going to encode it in a way that everyone in my future generation also has this coding. If this is my mission that I'm choosing, what in my reality is opposing that? And it could be the people you talk to, the colleagues you work with, the friends that you interact with, your own self. You could be the biggest roadblock. But I really want to highlight how other people are your roadblocks. Other people are your enemies of progress. And do you think that they were saying all this to be malicious or vindictive or they're there? No. They were saying this out of familiarity and clarity. They were saying this as a matter of fact. Of course, a nail tech has nothing to talk to an investment banker about. Of course, they should not be introduced to one another. Of course, that's stupid. That's so inappropriate. listening to this interaction was so blatantly brazen to me. In my head, I was like, oh my gosh, people could be really playing on your downfall, and they don't even know it because they think it's normal. They think it's normal to categorize people as one thing and never see them as anything else after that point, after categorization. No one can move in their lives. If you came into their lives as a broke, incompetent person, you're going to die in their lives as a broke, incompetent person. Even if you became a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, on the cover of Forbes 10 times, have bestseller books, they will always see you as the broke, incompetent person that they met you as. And this is the highlight of what lack of growth mindset. If you can't see your friends, your family evolve into whoever they want to be, and whoever's sitting in front of you is who they are in that present moment, not who you met them as 10 years ago, not who you quote unquote saved them from 15 years ago. If you can't evolve your view of that person, like that person's no longer, that 22-year-old who's broke, busted, and disgusted and who's begging you for some McDonald's. No, they work now. They have a family now. They're in the community now. They run a business now. They have in-laws now. They have a robust life now. But people like to remind you where they found you. People like to remind you where they quote unquote saved you. How they were at a higher status than you. And people will always remind you. So if you have any sort of ill will, ick about your origin story, you better nip it in the butt, or it will always remain the biggest trigger of your financial journey. The biggest trigger of your financial journey will be people bringing up your self that they saw when they met you. Even if you have evolved past that point 10 billion times over, they want to hold it over your head. Place you in a category. Well, you haven't changed very much. I remember when I met you and, girl, you're at my house, at my gala. What do you mean? Is that appropriate to speak of? They think it is. Oh, you remember when you were hungry and you were struggling, you didn't know how to pay your bills, da 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 da. Those innocent comments, endearing tropes. Yeah, that's not cute. That's not memory lane. That's to remind themselves, and also you, that you were in a certain category. And even if your life has changed in 360 ways times 11 since they met you, they will always be tethered to what they met you as. Because they lack growth mindset. And they also believe that you lack it too. The joke on they is that you have decided that you get to evolve. Be aware. Be super aware of how people talk about others with money, how people talk about others without money, how people talk amongst themselves about social class that they quote unquote hate, and all this political nonsense they like to throw in your face about it. We're all equal. We're all equal. Yeah. Clearly not. Clearly we're not. Be super aware of all the things if you decide this is going to be your journey. If you're making this your hero's journey, your generational journey. If this is your legacy that you want to live by, even if it's not even about your future generations, your future genetic line, even if this is a soul generational journey, right? For your next lifetime, for the lifetime times 10, you are meant to learn this lesson in this lifetime, and you're making it a point. I'm going to be the wealthiest person I ever know in this lifetime. And you are learning not only the masculine container of money management, wealth building, right? But also work on the feminine flow of how you speak about money, how you interact with money, how you see money, all those things. If this is your path, choose to be aware, ears attuned, and listen to all the things and hear what people are actually saying to you. Because if you think they're going to do it to some random person, best believe they're going to apply that same logic to you. Be wary, be aware, and move with courage and confidence. If you're interested in learning anything more, I would love for you to subscribe and share and journal about this. Think about a moment when this happened in your life and comment down below any of your suggestions, add any of your journaling thoughts or triggers that came up. I want to know. I'll talk to you later. Bye.